You know, I was listening to a sermon from Miles Monroe the other day, and he talked about when you don't use the potential that is deep inside of you, you are robbing the next generation. And I felt that because God has given each and every one of us potential, believe it or not. Whether you even think that you have potential or not, it is inside of you. Everything that you were born to do is inside of you. You just have to tap into it. You have to tap into that potential. And if you don't never tap into that potential, you are robbing the next generation. So there's this quote that says, "You are born looking like your parents, but you die looking like your own decisions." And I just want to touch on that. How many times are you going to keep blaming outside circumstances for your life not being the way you expect it to be? Yes, it's easy to blame everything else but ourselves, but when are you going to hold yourself responsible? Yes, your parents may have not done a great job at raising you. Cool. That's fine. But when you become an adult, a few years into adulthood, how many more times are you going to use that excuse? How many more times are you going to keep saying, "Oh, if my mommy did do this, if my daddy did do this"? Yes, they should have done certain things, but now the responsibility is in your hand. You have to decide, okay, am I going to keep using that excuse, or am I going to actually take full responsibility of changing my life into what I want it to be? And at times it can be hard trying to change your life, and it also can be hard staying the same, staying in a situation or being somewhere where you're unhappy and using the excuse that everybody else is responsible for the life that you have. Both of those situations are hard. But what is a better option? You weigh out the better option and decide you want to stay somewhere and keep complaining and saying, "Oh, my life would have been like this if my parents had did this." Listen to me. Today, let this be the wake up call to you that your future will be based on the decisions and the responsibility that you take to change your future to be what you want it to be. I know that in some circumstances, life can be a little hard. I get it. Honestly, I get it because I wasn't raised with a silver spoon in my mouth. But I also do know that if I want something to change in my life, I am the person that will have to decide that. I am the person that is going to have to change my actions. I am the person that is probably going to have to change things around for what I want to work in favor for me. Yes, I know that God does order our steps. He does make everything work together for our good. But the Bible also says that faith without works is dead. It has a quote that also says, "God helps those who helps themselves." And I don't think that's from the Bible, but I think it did derive from faith without works is dead. How do you expect life to really change for you unless you, you as the person decide that it's going to change? I mean, your past may have not looked good. Whatever you did in your past, it may have not looked good, but your future is dependent on what you're going to do now. What are you doing today? What exactly are you doing today to change your life? Yes, yes, yes. You could have all the excuses. I ain't got the job I want. Things ain't going right for me. I ain't got the vehicle what I want. These people ain't paying me enough. I used to be the queen of excuses. Until about 5 years ago, I said enough is enough. Enough is enough. And that came from inside of me. And when I made that decision, I decided that I can't blame nobody. You are not a tree. Jim Rohn said it before. You are not a tree. You don't have to stay somewhere that you don't want to be. Why you feel that? Why do you feel that you have to stay somewhere, rooted somewhere that you don't even like, when you have the opportunity to change what you don't like? And like I say it all the time, sometimes it's easier said than done. But there are going to be many challenges in life. And sometimes you have some people that, they come to you and they tell you what they're dealing with. And you give them solutions because I no longer think in terms of not being able to figure things out. I feel as though God has given each and every one of us the ability to figure out what it is that we need to do. I give people solutions to their problems. Now, most times when persons are dealing with a situation, they don't want to hear solutions. They probably want to host a pity party, or they just probably looking for a shoulder to lean on or somebody to confide in. which is good. Nothing wrong with that. But after you already cried it out, after you already get whatever it is off your chest, now we need to think in terms of solutions. What are we going to do moving forward? This is what we need to think about. What are we going to do moving forward? So today, I don't know. I am just here to be this, I don't even want to say gentle reminder. I'm just here to be this harsh reminder to you that you are born looking like your parents, but you die looking like your decisions. You decide today. What are you going to keep blaming? Or are you going to put you on that list of blame and decide that enough is enough? How many more years are you going to watch generations in your family not be successful? You've seen the generations before you haven't been successful with many things. And you have the opportunity to change that. You know, I was listening to a sermon from Miles Monroe the other day, and he talked about when you don't use the potential that is deep inside of you, you are robbing the next generation. And I felt that because God has given each and every one of us potential. Believe it or not, whether you even think that you have potential or not, it is inside of you. Everything that you were born to do is inside of you. You just have to tap into it. You have to tap into that potential. And if you don't never tap into that potential, you are robbing the next generation. Like how many more generations do you need to see not make it before you decide that you could do what it is that you were supposed to do and not blame people? See, God doesn't think in terms of just the individual. He thinks in terms of generations. This is what he did with the children of Israel. He thought in terms of generations. This is why the older generation couldn't go into the new promised land. They couldn't go into the promised land. This is why he used their kids. Because he was thinking in terms of generations. If he had let that older generation go into the promised land, they would have destroyed everything because they're thinking, their mindset. He tried to change it, but he couldn't change it. And probably that's what he's trying to do with you. He's trying to change your mindset and get you to understand that I need you to tap into the potential. I need you to change your mindset. I need you to change the person that you are right now so that you could go ahead of the future generations behind you. Sometimes it may just be just as Moses led them into the wilderness. Sometimes God may use you to go to a certain point, and then as he used Joshua to take them to the promised land. Probably he trying to use you to get them to a certain point, and he has someone from a future generation watching you and observing what you're doing, and then he's going to use that person to take them into the promised land. But you got to be willing to make use of the potential that he's put inside of you. I don't know where this came from in me today, and I honestly just speaking from my heart. And I feel like this really can help somebody today to understand that you can't keep blaming your parents or outside circumstances. You have to take responsibility. And until you decide that nobody else is responsible and that you are in charge of your life, you are in charge of your destiny, you are in charge of the future, then you'll always keep complaining. You'll always keep blaming outside circumstances. You'll never be able to move forward in life. But you got to decide. You have to make the decision. And I hope this video helps somebody today. I honestly hope this video helps somebody today to tap into the potential that you've been given. And just make the decision. I think making the decision, sorry y'all. I think making the decision is the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing. But once you decide that enough is enough, then you're on the right path.